keep Erie's environment protected took it to the streets of Erie this morning. We'll tell you who they were aiming their message at.
Today is a day that the people of Erie stood up to say that they don't want this tire plant, and stood in the rain and got wet for something that they believe in
order to save our environment and ultimately our planet.
We're not just a few tree huggers, there's a lot of us out there.
She and I live a half a block from where that site is. Yes. And we have only a half a block, and we have every reason to protest. There's plenty of other less populated places to put that plant. I'm speaking for all the schools and the children and the Barber Center also. They're all within that radius, a half a mile radius, a mile at the most, and they would all be directly affected.
They just don't realize the harm that would come to the city if this ordinance were passed.
Our air will be toxic. Our streets and our roads will be clogged with trucks carrying tires.
Some really good kids made this, and I love it because it's what happens when we do this. It's what's going to happen over and over again when we get this tired. Well, today there's two resolutions going that we want to get passed, and so we're out here protesting. We have to let everyone know that we do not want this tire plant. You know, rain or shine, it doesn't matter. This just makes the pollution come down all the harder right on us. We don't want it. We have to let them know, you know.
I said, no, we do not want a tire plant here. But it seems like we're being ignored.
You can't, there's no quick fixes now. We can't do the money grab every time there's a problem in the city. And
they turned their back on the city. They turned their back on the citizens.
But the bottom line, the ultimate question you address is this. Do you act for the people in the majority who elected you, or are you going to be shills for a few people who stand to make a whole lot of money while at least contributing an additional 43 deaths a year to our community?
No one wants it, so why should we have it? To endanger our children and everybody in our whole city and area. Don't destroy our most valuable resource.
And your legacy as city officials, if you allow this to happen for the letter of the law, will go down in our history as the greatest blight on the shores of Erie.
So all of a sudden we have one company come forward with one proposed use, challenges the ordinance, and 3 people say, we give up. You're right, the ordinance doesn't mean anything. One company in 30 years challenges it, and we're going to throw it out the window. City wasn't there to defend it. The mayor didn't send anybody to defend it. Does everyone in this building work for the mayor? Mayor's office. Who works in this building for you? Everyone. Oh.
A report published in the Journal of the American Medical Association in 2002 indicated that for every 10 micrograms of increase of particle pollution in the air, the incidence of lung cancer increases 8%. The incidence of cardiovascular disease increases 6%. And the incidence of all disease increases 4%. When we take those statistics and we interpret those in the level of the current mortalities and the current populations of Erie County, it turns out that building this plant will cost the lives of 43 residents of Erie County every year from all causes. 5.5 of those from lung cancer every year. That's an incredible price to pay for 30 to 60 jobs, or however many jobs that they're anticipating. I think that this plant should not proceed, and I find it unconscionable that the zoning board would actually grant a variance to cause this kind of health and life damage to the citizens.
No matter how high or how low the smokestacks, what goes up must and will come down into the lungs and skin of the citizens of Erie. Even as our property values fall on the east side, some of us are already planning to relocate to another state rather than become sick in Erie. But the poor cannot afford to relocate. The kids of Edison School, the Boys and Girls Club, the Charter School, the John Horan Public Housing Project, they will stay. If you do not speak for them and put their health and future first, then shame on the city. Shame on this city. If we follow the letter of the law and allow this monstrosity to ruin our home and our environment. Shame if we disregard the health of our people for the letter of the law and a handful of jobs. Shame, then live up to the saying we often heard derisively in the past and thought we had left behind. Erie, the mistake on the lake. Don't, please don't allow this awful thing to happen. It is a mistake on our lake, a huge mistake.
We put this effort together because we wanted to show the members of this board that we are the majority. We are. The majority of residents in the city of Erie do not want this Tires Energy plant. It is that simple. Each and every one of you, when you're sworn into this office, swear to uphold a certain honor, a certain sense of duty to your city. I ask you to think about those things in the decisions you make, the way you carry yourself, not only on this board, but in your own lives. Because there's a lot of people in the city that are watching, and they're counting on you. And a whole lot of them can't drive themselves to City Hall, can't sell their home and move, because they're too young to own a home. They're too young to vote for you. Therefore, they can't vote you out.
I think what has happened is the majority opinion and the expert majority, the experts of the majority opinion, people like Dr. Vento, Dr. Flasha, a meteorologist from LSU, we have a chemist from Barron, a chemist from SUNY Fredonia, all have said the same thing. And I don't think anyone here has the credentials that they do to judge the scientific principles laid out in the EIS, or not, it isn't even EIS, in the application presented by ERE. Every person in the United States already exceeds, carries around in their bodies right now more than the maximum level of dioxins that are permitted by the law. Every person in the United States, every man, woman, and child. It's time that you as council members all individually take a position against it as representatives of the electorate, your constituency that's sitting here. Dioxin, arsenic, mercury, but it's not killing anybody. Honest to God, folks, common sense has to prevail, and I guess sometimes it goes out the window with politicians, but I think with the people sitting in the audience, the people who elected you, common sense does prevail. It's truth to power, and this is the time to step up to the plate.